Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video for a year every single day to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. And this is video number 160 of 365, another milestone. Thank you guys for being with me so much. This is so much fun. And every day the subs are going up and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So thank you. I'm so excited. I'm like a little kid today. And I have tons of ideas for this video, so I'm gonna have to try to contain myself and I'll try not to ramble in this one too. So, wanted to talk about the imagination, of course, and I want you to think about what it would be like to imagine the impossible. So this is really big because I think that we're trained to only believe in the possible and believe in what we see. And I think that that's pretty terrible that we were programmed this way, because when we're children, we imagine, we use our imagination. It's like a muscle that's built as we're children, and we just lose that ability. And then we also have lost our focus and our attention. We have so many distractions. And so something that I'm really big on, especially right now, is learning how to focus and learning where to place your attention. So this is really, really important. I'm finding that it's probably the most important thing, actually. It's you're conscious. You're noticing, okay, where is my attention going throughout the day? So that's your first assignment, is to notice, where are you being distracted in your life? What is taking your attention away from what you're actually wanting? Because a lot of the time we are just haphazardly thinking things from thing to thing to thing, and we get off track, and pretty soon the day's over and we're like, oh, I forgot to sit here and imagine something that I want. And we've just let the day take a hold of us. And that's what they want, I think. It's like we're just programmed as a society somehow to think this way. So I want you to take the reins back, take the control back, and say, okay, and I want you to think about the impossible. It is possible, but it seems impossible. So I want you to think that you're the only one in your world. You're the only one that exists. You get to decide everything, that this is all a simulation. This is all not real. So this is just a projection of your consciousness. So let's just think for a moment. Imagine this. What if you're all alone and everything you're seeing around you is just literally a mirror to what you're thinking about yourself, what you're believing about the world and yourself, what you're assuming about yourself and the world? What if that's true and you're looking at your world like that? And what if there are just billions of dollars just floating around you digitally? They're just in the atmosphere. And you've got this literal energy field that is all around you. And all the possibilities exist, which means every type of thing that you want, every event that you want to happen, every person you want to be with, be friends with, whatever, is possible. Anything you want is possible. Literally anything. It exists in this energy field. What if that is true? And this is what I want you to start imagining, because this is what quantum physics is all about. Now, on this channel, I've decided to keep things very simple. I know I've said this before, but when I do my membership and other things like that, I'll teach more in depth of this stuff. But for the sake of this channel, I want just the average person to be able to watch my videos and take something from it and say, wow, what if this could be possible? And then for those that are really interested, you can join me in the membership whenever I get that created soon. So I've been really thinking about this lately, and because I didn't want to go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole in videos. Maybe on lives we can, when I start doing lives. But for these, I wanted to keep them, very simple. And so I think that just imagining that, whether it's true or not, you get to decide. And what if it is true, and we're all in this energy field, and our world is literally what we decide, what we believe. So if you could believe in the impossible, what would it be? What would it feel like in your body if you didn't have to worry about financial struggles anymore? What if that were the case? How would your body feel? Feel the impossibility of lack and the possibility of abundance. Just feel that in your body. Imagine it, what that would feel like. And Because you know how you feel right now about financial struggles, if you have them, or relationship struggles, or struggles with confidence, or worthiness, any of those things. Let's reverse it a little bit and think, what if my body felt this, what if my body couldn't feel this lack anymore? What would it feel if it actually felt the abundance? And teach your body how that feels. And what you're doing is you're creating a memory that you can go back to at any time, and you're programming your brain and body to actually think that this is happening, because they don't know the difference. The universe doesn't know the difference. This energy field doesn't know the difference. You're just programming it. You're telling it what to do. So this stuff was, I learned some of this in my doctoral program about quantum physics, of course, and Joe Dispenza, I've followed him for years and years, and he healed his spinal cord injury through meditating for 6 weeks, for like 3 hours a day. And he developed his attention so well that he was able to, this is what he said, instruct the quantum field to project out into reality, which was his spine, and healed his spinal cord injury. So he constructed a very, like a blueprint of his spine, and imagine this, but he would direct his energy back, his focus back to this blueprint in his mind. And that's why it took him 3 hours a day, because it was like his attention just went on to something else every single second. This is what we're doing, is we're losing our attention during the day. So we're letting it go wherever we want it to go. And just imagine that your attention is like, it's like a river. There's a river flowing, and you get to decide where you're going to flow. You get to decide how fast, how slow, but this river is flowing. That's the energy field. It's always going. You just get to decide where you want to direct this energy. And you have to be conscious and aware of where it's going so that you can start directing it to where you want it to go. Because if you don't, you're going to stay in the same place. You're going to be paddling in the same area of this river, and you're not going to go anywhere. So we want to go forward towards our vision. And so you want to create a vision for yourself. And you can start as small or as big as you want. Just start imagining the impossible. So back to Joe Dispenza, he created this, blueprint in his mind. And I did hear of a study, and I cannot find this dang study, but it's a study where basically it was, there was information. I can't remember how they measured this either, but I did see this study, and I've got to find it. But it was like they saw basically like they measured the information in the quantum field before it projected out. It was like these women had ovarian cancer, I think it was, and the same information that existed in the people that already had cancer existed in the field for the people that didn't have cancer, but then later they did come down with cancer because that information existed in the field. I hope that made sense. I'm going to try to find this study because it was just so interesting. But the point is of all this is that if there is an invisible energy field around us and we can just command it to project out onto our reality, onto our bodies, which our bodies are made of matter, then what if? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be a lot easier than trying to do all the work we're trying to do? So that's the point that I want you to take with you today is, what if you were to imagine the impossible? We have been programmed to think that these things do not exist. These ideas have been around for forever, I'm sure. I don't know how long. I haven't done the research on all that, but I'm sure they've been around forever. And we just haven't been taught these things. That's all that it is. I don't know why we weren't taught these things. I really don't know. I'm assuming it's to have control over us. I'm assuming in society, technically. But you can take your control back at any time and say, I can believe in the impossible. I can believe in the miraculous. That's one of my favorite things to say is, I believe in the miraculous. I like to say that. And just imagine what it would feel like to not have the struggles you're having right now. What if they don't exist? What if you're making them happen? What if they're trying to teach you something about yourself? Look at the event, look at the person, look at them like a mirror, and they're telling you something about yourself. Maybe you don't love yourself enough. So then, if that's the case, You're going to look in the mirror after you get off this video, and you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to tell yourself, I love you. And you're going to see how comfortable or uncomfortable it is. And especially if it's uncomfortable, you want to keep practicing. And one thing you could do, I thought about this with like the EMDR therapy that I practice with my clients, which is bilateral stimulation, left brain, right brain, and it helps process old memories that disturb you. It kind of takes the disturbing factor out of them a little bit. And so I thought of like, you can cover one of your eyes and say, I love you, and then cover your other eye and say, I love you, and just kind of go back and forth and see what that does for you. I don't know, it might change something. It might just, it's almost like, I look at EMDR as like an Etch-a-Sketch. If you're old enough to know what that is, I look at it like an Etch-a-Sketch. You're just kind of shaking your brain loose a little bit. So try that with covering your eyes. This will be a new exercise. I haven't even heard of this before, but I thought of it earlier. And try new things. Think new things. Don't just assume that because somebody else has something or doesn't have something, or, you know, the way that they did it is the only way to do it. Don't think that way. Think the impossible exists. So if the impossible exists, the impossible that we deem impossible, what if the impossible is possible? And what would that mean for you? What do you want to make possible that you feel is impossible? And what if it were possible? How would you feel? And really think about that, because we are so programmed to believe that we can't have the things that we want, or that it's hard to get them. I want people to say life is easy. I want this to be programmed into us. Life can be easy. It really, truly can. And we just have to make that decision every day that we want to look at things in a different way. We've got to shift our mindset to see things differently. And that starts with seeing ourselves differently. We've got to start seeing ourselves as deserving and worthy. And once we change our self-concept, how we see ourselves and what we assume about ourselves, the mirror will change. Every single time you'll see people change, you'll see opportunities come, you'll see all kinds of things that you couldn't see before, because we are literally blind to opportunities and all kinds of things, because we're in a certain self-concept, we're in a certain assumption about ourselves, which means we're literally blind to the things that we could see. So just keep in mind that there is like this invisible field around us, and we can basically select any reality that we want. So what if there are parallel realities going on right now? What if there are a bunch of yous walking around? One is in poverty, one's wealthy, one's happy, one's just so depressed. Which one would you choose? Choose one, write it down, get really elaborate with it, write down your new reality, and then thank the universe. Say, thank you for this new reality. I like this one. Just choose it and just start saying like, I believe in the miraculous. This is what I want my reality to look like. Write it down. How would you feel if you had all that? And start practicing. This is the other homework. During your day, you're going to practice being that person. How would they think? How would they act? What behaviors would they have? What things would they stop doing and start doing that you're doing and not doing now? Just become that person, and you're going to train your brain and body to think that they're in that future. And so, but you're being it now, which is going to create some really good feelings in you, which means that you're just going to feel good anyway, no matter what. So that's the goal right there, is just to feel good. And you just want to create some imagined scenes in your mind to change your mental state. That's it. It's like an antidepressant for you. We don't need all these things that we think we need to make us feel better. All these external things. We don't need all these things. We need love. We need happiness. We need joy. We need excitement. I love excitement. I like to be excited. I'm excited like probably most of the time. It's kind of crazy, but I've trained myself that way. I've just had the time and the focus to be able to do that. And I also train myself that way because, oh my God, I know what pain and agony feel like. And I never want to feel those ever again, as long as I live, if possible. So I just have trained my mind to not be there. And if I do feel that way, I climb real quick out of that. So it's all about training your mind, and keep that in mind. notice where your focus goes, notice where your attention goes, and bring yourself back. Gently bring yourself back and say, okay, we're training this muscle of the mind to have attention and focus on what we're wanting, and practice it all day as much as you can remember to do. And notice the feelings in your body, because they're going to tell you, they're going to kind of show you like, hey, this is off. And so use it as data, and then just like as a data point, just feel it, and then say, okay, what was I thinking before I felt this? And what emotion does this bring up in me? And just kind of process through that. And then you can decide, okay, I'm going to choose now. How do I want to feel now? That aligns with this future reality I've decided that I want, and this future identity that I want to become. What are the things I need to stop doing? What are my non-negotiables that I need to start doing? So then you align with that person, and then pretty soon you're that person. It's pretty crazy. Well, I will end this ramble for today. Thank you so much for listening. If this helped you, please share it with somebody who it might benefit, and please like and subscribe if you'd like to. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you are loved, and remember that what you appreciate appreciates. So appreciate yourself and do your mirror work. And start imagining your new self and become him or her. You can decide at any moment. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.